Hey everybody, it's Emily from ARG Schooling, and today I'm going to do my October wrap-up. I read a total of 5 books this month, and 3 of them were adult fiction. One was a YA graphic novel, and one was a middle grade children's book. So I'm just going to get right into it, and in no particular order. First up, I want to talk about We Have Always Lived in the Castle by Shirley Jackson. This is my first Shirley Jackson book, and I really liked it. I didn't know what to expect going in. I had literally no idea what this book was about when I bought it, and I just wanted to experience a Shirley Jackson novel, and it was really, really good and really fun. This book is about Mary Cat and Constance. They are sisters who live in this big, like, creepy mansion on a hill in this village. And they live with their Uncle Julian. And we know from the very beginning of the book that their whole family has died, except for these 3. And there's some kind of mystery about that. The whole town hates them. They never leave the house. It's very, very kind of creepy. And this book was, for me, more disturbing in the idea of these girls, these girls living in this house alone and like being afraid to leave. It's just very creepy. And I really enjoyed the story. It's very short. It was like 146 pages or something. So I read it fairly quickly, but I really enjoyed it. I gave this 3.5 stars. Next book I want to talk about is Jane Steele by Lindsay Fay. I have done a complete review, which I will link for you above, and you can check that out if you want. I'm just going to say I love this book. I gushed over it quite a bit in the review. This was maybe my favorite book that I've read in the last few months, possibly the year. I just really, really liked it. I gave it 5 stars. This is a play on Jane Eyre, where it's sort of like an ode to Jane Eyre, where instead of her being this morally perfect character, she is a serial killer. And this woman, Jane Steele, kind of idolizes Jane Eyre and wants to be like her, but knows that in her heart she's bad, and so she does these terrible things, even though they're really not terrible, because all of the murders she commits are justifiable. These are all terrible people, and I really enjoyed the story. It mirrors Jane Eyre in a lot of ways, but there's also a whole different like essence to it. I just really, really liked it, and you should definitely pick this up. I'm excited to check out more of Lindsay Fay's work because I just loved this book. The next book that I read is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch, and I had been anticipating this for quite a while, and I finally got to it, and I was not disappointed. This book was very, very fun. It's a sci-fi thriller, which I read some sci-fi. I'm not a huge sci-fi person. I do enjoy it though as a genre, and I found the story to be really different. It sort of reminded me a little bit of The Martian in that it's very sciencey. There's a lot of science happening in this book, but it's also very fantastical. The whole multiverse, parallel universes theory, which I've always been fascinated by. I mean, the idea that there are multiple versions of me living out every decision I've ever made differently. Like, that's crazy. I don't know. I can't quite wrap my brain around this theory, but I find it fascinating, and I wish I could know more. But I don't know that I could delve into the science and the math and all of that to explain it. But this book was so, like, just mind-bendy. And it really makes you think about all the decisions that you've made in your life, and like what does the other Emily appear to be like? Like what does her life look like? And the other bazillion Emilys that have all made different decisions. I don't know. But I really liked this book. The main character was very relatable. I don't know. I enjoyed the story quite a lot. I gave this 4 stars. I also read Anya's Ghost by Vera Brosgol, and this is a YA graphic novel. The pictures are just kind of simply done, black and white and kind of a grayish hues, and it was just a really interesting little story. My daughter had read this ages ago and said that I would like it, and she was right. I did. I enjoyed it. The main character is a Russian immigrant in America, and she has worked really hard over the several years that she's been in America to become American. She doesn't want to be made fun of for her accent, so she doesn't have one anymore. She's trying really hard to fit in. And she's very lonely. She only has one friend. She doesn't really get along with anybody in the school she goes to. There's another boy that her family is friendly with because he's also a Russian immigrant, but he hasn't really Americanized to the point that she has, and she just wants nothing to do with him because she thinks that, that'll bring her down in society. And then, so she's lonely, and she meets this ghost. And shenanigans ensue. It's just a really creepy, interesting, sad little story. And I don't know. There were things that I wished would have happened that didn't. Like, I didn't feel like the main character, Anya, quite developed enough to realize her mistakes. She sort of was getting there, but I feel like she could have had a little more development. But again, it's just a little graphic novel. It's not, like, dense material here. So for what it was, I enjoyed it. And I gave it 3 stars. Our family read aloud this month was Coraline by Neil Gaiman, which I had never read. I read The Graveyard Book last year, and I loved it, and so I wanted to share this one with my kids so we could experience another Neil Gaiman book together, and we just really liked it. It was really fun. I loved how creepy it was for being a children's book. Like, it was legitimately creepy, and yeah, we watched the movie last night for Halloween night, and it was a fun little movie. And I'd never seen it, so the only thing I knew going into this book was that there was another mother with button eyes, and they wanted to give Coraline button eyes. And I know my daughter read this when she was younger, and it completely freaked her out. So, yeah, it was a fun little book. We gave it 4 stars. And that is all the books that I read in October. I feel like it was a pretty good reading month. I was very busy with lots of other things. I was sick for some of the months, so for all of that, to still read that many books I did well. What did you read in the month of October? Please share down below in the comments. I'd love to hear about all the books that you read. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Happy reading. Bye!